welcome to our final video of today. So we're on day 2 and this is video 3 of the day, which makes it video 6 in total. Hopefully that's clear.
Confused yet?
Who knows? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. You're here with us. This is our final video of the day. So nuzzle in, settle down. We've got 12 absolutely wonderful artists, designer makers and craftspeople to tell you about. So we're going to start with an artist, a painter actually, Liz Foster. Liz's work, as you can see from this image here, is an absolute riot of colour. She really knows how to bring colour together and how to use colour to evoke movement, gesture and shape. The thing that's interesting about this is that there's a real sort of sense of innocence in the way that she brings colour together. And what I really love about the way that Liz talks about her work is she actually says that the subject matter is the act of painting itself. And as somebody who likes to create abstract painting myself, I totally get that. She also says that she uses awkward form, but there's something about what the result of what she creates which is far from awkward, which is cohesive and balanced, and to me has such a sense of joy about it.
Beautiful work. That moves us on to Lot E now, created by Lottie Edgar. The thing that we loved about Lottie when we first met her was her real need to be ethical with what she did, to be able to coexist with nature and create these beautifully handcrafted accessories and clothes which really had minimal waste and really were ethically sound. The pieces that she creates are really simple in design. They are absolutely beautiful in colour. She uses natural dyes and really lets the texture and the quality of the material that she uses be at the forefront of her work, and just produces these beautiful one-off pieces of clothing that would be fab to wear.
So we're going to move on to Lucy Jean Green. She is a kinetic artist, which basically means that the work that she creates moves. Quite literally, it moves. And she uses a medium that you probably wouldn't expect as a kinetic artist. She uses paper. So she uses paper, and she also creates all the mechanisms that allow the movement. So her work comes in these boxes quite often, which she's handcrafted, and then there's a mechanism to wind or move these paper sculptures within the boxes. Incredible. I mean, I don't know how she has even the patience, but she's creating a world. It really is. It's a world within.
And next we've got Jula Magnolia Restrepo. You can see here in this image that she's grown up surrounded by tropical mountains and nature, and you can,
she's not from Yorkshire.
She's
from Colombia.
She's from Colombia, and you can really see that coming out in the work that she creates. Her jewellery it's got a real vibrancy to it. It's got beautiful silvers and golds, and these are all fair trade or recycled materials, and then she adds in these beautiful gemstones in absolutely stunning colours, which are also ethically sourced, and they've got a real organic feel to them. She's got a real eye for combining materials and stones in one piece.
So we're going to look at the artist and sculptor Marcus Steele now. So we're going to have a look at one of his pieces, which I think you can see straight away. This is somebody who really probably we would say has really amazing craft skills. He uses his experience and his knowledge of metalworking to create vessels and domestic ware. So he has pieces that are functional as well as beautiful in an ornamentation way. He's interested in modern architecture, but he's also interested in historic architecture. And I think you can kind of tell as well that he's interested in industrial landscapes. So these very simple forms actually belie a real skill set to create the purity of line that we see here.
Yeah, I really love Marcus's work, really understated forms. Maria Boyd next is an artist who was also one of our Raw Talent 2020 winners, and she creates absolutely beautiful, really intricate watercolour paintings. They're really highly stylised, and you can see that she's got a real identity with the work that she creates. There's a lot of themes of wildlife and nature, but all kind of framed and brought together and linked with this just beautiful background of pattern and colour. And then she includes these hints of gold, and that just really makes each piece shine as well. Beautiful work. We have Mark Butler next, who is a sculptor, and Mark creates bronze forms, so most of his work is bronze, and they're real kind of impact pieces. So he creates sculptural standalone pieces which could be placed in a room, or I think in your garden as well, or on a table. And then he also creates these beautiful wall pieces. He uses a lot of rusted sheets of steel and really lets the kind of disintegration of the steel and that material rusting to give this beautiful texture to each piece.
It's quite interesting as well, isn't it? Because when you were talking about wall pieces, people often think of wall art as being a painting or a print, but here we can see in Mark Butler's work that isn't the case. That wall art can absolutely be sculpture. So we're going to talk about now another artist, Mark Hebblewhite. He is a painter, and we're going to bring up an image of his work here, and you can really see that Mark has something to say about the world that we live in. Here it's really like a political commentary, and yet at the same time there's something about it that's got a little tiny bit tongue-in-cheek. His collection of acrylic paintings combines street art and graffiti and pop art, and he's got a real anarchic view of the 21st century. And actually this kind of work that's really got something to say is really important and necessary right now.
Our next artist is Marna Lunt, who is a textile artist. And what I really love about Marna's work, which you can see in this picture here, is how she uses thread and stitching in a really painterly way. And from a distance, they do look like paintings, and then when you get up close to them, you can really see the detail and the skill that she has in creating these stitched portraits and pictures. You know, she gets brush strokes almost, and she really blurs the lines between painting and stitching.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Marna uses her very skilled painterly ways of working to create these brooches, which means that these pieces quite literally are wearable art.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move on now to ceramic artist Megan Downs. Megan creates abstract sculptural ceramics. So let's have a look at one of her pieces. And I think you can really see here that she's influenced by the grey weather that we can often get in the Yorkshire landscapes. She lives in Sheffield, and she's very much influenced by the industrial landscape of where she is. But her works has real tactility to them. These are sculptural ceramics that beg to be touched. Smooth surfaces, rough finishes, scoring marks in the surface. So a real sense of a statement piece in whatever form and way it's presented.
Next we've got artist Michael Claxton, who creates these very atmospheric, emotive landscape paintings. Now you can see from the image here just how expressive and free Michael's work is. He works predominantly from memory, and you can really get the sense that he has stood in these locations, that he has experienced the weather, the light, the wind, the rain, the sunshine, in all of these locations that he loves to paint. He uses bold, open brushstrokes alongside palette knife mark making, which gives a real texture to his paintings. I don't know about you, but I could stand in front of one of these paintings forever because they just have a real calming effect, and you can just stare into the distance on each one of them.
Absolutely beautiful. And the tones and hues that he uses as well. I think anyone that lives in and around the UK just knows these shades, these colours. And so we move on to our final artist of the 12 in this video, Morag McPherson. She is a designer maker, and she creates bespoke textile pieces. We're going to talk today specifically about the kimonos that she creates, because actually a kimono isn't a kind of a normal everyday item for some people. However, when you look at these ones, I think you might say, actually, I think having a kimono might be a good idea. She creates these pieces with her own designs. So her patterns are graphic in nature, with such a sense of expressionism in the abstract nature of the mark making that she uses. She uses natural fabrics including linen, cotton, wool and silk, and all of them are 100% natural and using her digitally printed images. However, for me, that's not the bit that's the most exciting about Morag's work. It's the way that she then puts these things together. It's the way that she uses contrast to make these pieces dramatic and interesting and utterly beautiful and wearable at the same time. So thank you for joining us on day 2. We're finishing up now. We're going to go and probably have another bit of cake and another cup of tea, because why not? And then we're going to be back tomorrow for our final day of Art&York online. However, there's lots more going on. Please have a look at our stories, at the other things that are going to be coming up over the next couple of hours, the images that will come up that will direct you a bit more to the interesting things that our artists are up to. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.